Here's a strange fact, hiding in your kitchen. Your coffee goes cold. It never goes hot again, on its own. That one-way street runs through everything, cups, stars, memory, the universe itself. Today we follow it all the way down to a number so large you cannot physically write it down, and to a question physics leaves wide open. This is the evidence file. Let's weigh it honestly. Why does time only run forward? The answer is carved on a grave, in Vienna. S equals K log W, Ludwig Boltzmann's equation. It says entropy, disorder, is really just counting. Count the ways a thing can be messy. Count the ways it can be ordered. The messy ways win. Not by a little, by numbers too large to say out loud. So the cup breaks and never unbreaks. You remember yesterday and not tomorrow. The arrow of time is statistics. Boltzmann died in 1906, still fighting for that idea. Within a few years, he was proved right. And his equation opens a bigger question. One physics is still confronting. Hold for more on that one. Sit with what Boltzmann showed. The second law is not a decree, it's arithmetic. Disorder has more ways to happen, so disorder is what happens. But notice the fine print. For disorder to increase, it had to start low. A cup can only break if it was first whole. A battery can only drain if it was first charged. So the deepest question is not why things run down. It's why anything was ever wound up to begin with. If the universe were infinitely old, everything would already be dead. So why is your coffee still hot? Physicists have seen this coming since the 1800s. Every star is spending energy it can never get back. Given forever, it all runs down. One uniform, lukewarm silence. Heat death. But look up. The stars are still burning. The sun still pours out light. You are drinking hot coffee in a universe that should have flatlined ages ago. Which means the universe is not infinitely old. It looks freshly wound. A clock still running down from an absurdly tight wind-up. And a wind-up is not nothing. So, what do you think wound the clock? Tell me below. Now, freshly wound is a picture, and pictures can mislead. So, let's replace the picture with a measurement. How ordered did the start have to be for a universe like ours to still be spending it down 14 billion years later? Stars, galaxies, chemistry, minds. One of the great mathematical physicists of our age did that calculation. Roger Penrose calculated the odds that our universe started this ordered. And you cannot physically write the number down. 1 in 10 to the 10 to the 123rd power. Try it. A 1, then zeros. Put a 0 on every particle in the observable universe. You run out of universe before you run out of zeros. Now, that is not the odds of life. That's the odds of the starting conditions. The universe's first moment set that precisely. Penrose is no preacher. He's a Nobel-winning mathematical physicist. This is his number. The constants were fine-tuned. Turns out the ignition was too. New evidence every week, honestly weighed. Subscribe. If you've been with us since episode 1, you feel the echo. There, it was the dials, the constants of physics, like the cosmological constant, sitting at 1 part in 10 to the 122nd power. Here, something deeper. Not the dial settings. The opening arrangement, the deal of the deck, before the game even starts. 2 independent layers of precision. And they lean the same way. In a due diligence memo, we'd call that convergence, separate lines of evidence, agreeing. And if you saw last week's episode, this cashes the check we wrote there. The multiverse's universe-making machine needs a start this precise too. Penrose's number is the example. The tuning doesn't dissolve, it relocates. But an evidence file is not a victory lap. The skeptic gets the floor, at full strength. One of the best-known atheist physicists in the world says the ordered start of the universe is a problem science hasn't solved. Carroll wrote a whole book on the arrow of time. His own chain goes like this. Time runs forward because entropy rises. Entropy rises because it started absurdly low. And why did it start low? That's the open question. Cosmologists call it the past hypothesis. And it is an assumption, not an explanation. Carroll says so himself, and he's searching hard for a natural answer. So, let's be fair. Nobody gets this for free. The atheist owes an explanation. So does the theist. We weigh both, honestly, in the full episode, link in bio. So what are the serious naturalistic options? Let's build them properly. Option 1. The cyclic universe. Maybe the clock rewinds. Penrose himself proposes conformal cyclic cosmology, universes passing the baton eon after eon. Steinhardt and Turok have colliding membranes, big bangs forever. These are serious published models from first-rank physicists. The hard part? The second law doesn't take cycles off. Each new cycle needs its entropy reset to low, and the reset is exactly the thing that needed explaining. The mystery tends to move one cycle back, not disappear. Option 2. Boltzmann's own idea. Maybe our ordered region is a random fluctuation in an eternal, dead cosmos. Wait long enough, and chance deals a royal flush. But last week's ghost returns. A fluctuation big enough for one galaxy is overwhelmingly more likely than a whole fine-tuned universe. And a lone, fluctuated brain is likelier still. Follow that logic, and you shouldn't trust your own memories, including your memory of the evidence for the theory. Most cosmologists treat that as a dead end. Option 3. Just accept it. The low entropy start is a brute fact. That's simply how it was. Look, that's not crazy. But be clear about what it is. It's not an explanation. It's the decision to stop asking. And the honesty clause. Always. Quantum gravity is unfinished. A deeper theory could reframe all of this. If a cyclic model ever solves the reset problem, this episode's case gets weaker, and we will say so on this channel. So weigh it, the way we always do. On one side, brute fact. The universe began absurdly, unnecessarily, immeasurably ordered, for no reason. Nothing predicted it, nothing explains it. On the other, a wind-up, a mind that set a clock. On that hypothesis, a freshly wound universe is roughly what you'd expect to find. Precise ignition, readable laws, time enough for stars and children. That's the Bayesian shape of it. The evidence is far more probable on a winder than on none. It raises the posterior. It does not close the case. The scale settles. It doesn't slam. And notice what a wound clock means for you, personally. Your days are numbered, not as a threat, but as a fact of thermodynamics. Moses saw it 3,000 years before Boltzmann. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. A clock that runs down makes every hour spent on love, on truth, on mercy, unrepeatable, and therefore, priceless. Physics says you can reverse disorder in one small place, but only if something outside the system pays for it. Your freezer makes ice by dumping heat out the back. Order here, paid for there. No exceptions. The second law always collects. In 1867, Maxwell imagined a tiny demon sorting molecules to cheat that law. It took physics a century to catch him. Even the demon pays. You can't even forget for free. Now hold that rule next to one claim from history. A dead man, alive. Decay, run backwards. If it happened, it was not free. Someone outside the system paid. That's not physics. It's the claim physics leaves room for. I hold the keys of death, it says in Revelation 1:18. Examine the dark honestly. Watch for the light. New evidence, every week. Free, always. Subscribe at Doubt and Dawn.